I'm BB Chang, and welcome to the second week of our Marist Young Adult Lenten Retreat. If this is your first time joining us, here is how the retreat works. After spending some time quieting yourself, you will be invited to listen to the Sunday Gospel, followed by a reflection prepared by a member of our Marist family. Some questions and a suggested action will be offered after the reflection. This week's reflection has been prepared by Catherine Weaning, co-chair of the Marist Young Adult Advisory Committee. Catherine is a student at Pace University and a graduate of Marist High School in Bayonne, New Jersey. Last week's gospel reading spoke to us about how Jesus was led into the desert. In his reflection, Brother James Hodge highlighted how the desert or wilderness can be a place where we can learn new things about ourselves so that we can grow, change, and discover our mission in life. We all have times when our own actions can lead us into the wilderness. As you enter into this time of retreat, take a moment to quiet yourself and recall a time when your actions kept you away from God. Take a deep breath and place that situation into God's hands. Let go of your anxieties and ask God for forgiveness. Breathe in a sense of calm. And allow yourself to become more focused as you pray the following prayer. As you listen to the reading, listen for a word or phrase that catches your attention. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, as his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant.
Hi, I'm Catherine Weaning, a Marist Young Adult and graduate from Marist Bayonne. These are my thoughts on this week's Gospel. So Jesus took James, John, and Peter up a mountain, and they witnessed the Transfiguration. They see Jesus' clothes become dazzling white, they see Elijah and Moses, and they directly hear a reminder from God that Jesus is his true Son. And in that reminder was a second reminder, a reminder about why they followed Jesus in the first place, why they followed their call and dropped everything to do so. And sometimes it's hard for us to remember why we follow our call, because we get tired, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So maybe this Lent can be a time to re-energize yourself, a time to meditate on your past mountains, to reflect on a memorable retreat or a service opportunity or inspiring homily. And while the 3 disciples are on the mountain, they're speechless because they're so in awe of what's happening. But when Peter can speak, he suggests that they build 3 tents, one for Jesus, one for Moses, and one for Elijah, because Peter wants to prolong this moment. And sometimes we're all Peters. Sometimes when we feel most connected to God, we want to prolong that. However, we have to know when it's time to go down the mountain, just like Peter, because before Peter can get around to building those tents, God speaks to them, the moment ends, and he climbs down. And the mountain isn't some VIP club where we only share this experience with those we climbed it with. We have to climb down and bring that experience to others because we're called to make Jesus known and loved to everyone, not just ourselves. After his Montagna experience, Champagne could have just kept that to himself and every now and then help a kid. But he didn't. Instead, he shared that experience with as many people as he could, and millions upon millions of people benefited, including us. So being on the mountain is great, but we have to remember to climb down it too. To help reflect on this gospel, I prepared 3 questions. What mountains have you climbed recently? How can you bring those mountains to others? And how can you re-energize yourself to keep on going, just like the 3 disciples on the mountain?
Spend some time reflecting on and journaling with the questions proposed by Catherine. Recall the words or phrases that spoke to you during the reading and let them stay in your mind and heart throughout the week. Pay attention for one concrete thing that you can do in response to the gospel. Here are a couple of thoughts that might help. Catherine challenges us to reflect on our own mountain experiences so that we can be re-energized to go out and make Jesus known and loved. Commit yourself to spend some additional time in prayer and reflection this week. Catherine also reminds us that we can't stay on the mountain, that our mountain experiences must lead us to action. As Marists, we are called to go to those who are marginalized in our society, to those who are unable to make changes in their own lives. Take a moment to ask yourself, who are the montañas in your everyday world? And what are the socio-economic, interpersonal, or emotional issues that contribute to their situation? Then consider spending some time this week with an individual who might need to feel God's love or with an organization that addresses issues that hinder growth. Thanks for joining us for the second week of our Marist Young Adult Lenten Retreat. See you next week.